Hello there. This is Melek, and welcome to, I think it's the fourth question and answer session. I must apologise. I've kind of been a bit of a delay since the last one, wasn't it? Yes, this lovely chair of mine. I was finding a spell that prevents my legs from being shattered, by them being merged into a chair. Yes, that's what I was doing, and that's why there was a delay. It wasn't me, kind of, forgetting or anything, because that would be ridiculous. Like I would kind of forget and lose track of time. That would be that's nonsense. Distraction isn't really the sort of thing that. Woo, plant. No, I'm kidding. Right, I've already got, if you'll notice, I've got my little question ready. And here, Louis Todd 5 asks, whatever happened to Spore? Did you stop because the space stage is too long? Well, no. I never really got on with the space stage, to be honest. It was one of those things where I thought that game was fantastic just without the space stage, and I know that it was kind of the longest stage. I kind of played through it and I just kind of got bored, because then it's just kind of, it's like you get to grind all the spaceship parts, and I don't know, it was kind of play through it the once and that was fun, but play through it again? Nah, I couldn't really. That would just do my head in. And you also ask, whatever happened to the forum post about you doing a dual con with Yogscast? Well, there's a long story about that, but the whole thing with the Yogscast thing, let's just say the person who apparently said that he'd been given the go-ahead hadn't been given the go-ahead, and they were full of shit. And to be honest, it was a right complete nonsense, really. I actually feel slightly foolish about the whole thing. I shouldn't really be so naive at my age, but hey, But basically, yeah, it was never going to happen. It was just someone who wanted some publicity. But either way, the point is we all learn a lesson, don't we? And yeah, that's not going to happen. The actual Yogscast were actually fine about it. It was kind of like, fair enough, all right, and yeah, simple as that. But yeah, nothing's likely to happen because of that. Or rather, nothing is going to happen as a result of that. Not that it's been messed up or anything. Let's see what we got in here. Okay, yes, we have another question here. Marin Madness 23 says, any plans on doing any other group LPs like the Survival Island I did with TSO and them? Do you plan on doing console game? Okay, yeah, I have to admit I want to try and get involved in doing a few things with random subs and random people, and don't start sending in messages. Oh god, I've opened the floodgates, haven't I? I get requests for doing this sort of thing all the time, and it's on a whim. On a whim, I will say yes. And normally I will offer it out of the blue. People directly ask me. I'm generally not. I'm not going to do it. But yeah, I do have plans. It's really when it happens. Do you know what I mean? You kind of, you never plan these things. They kind of just happen. So yeah. And you also ask console games. Consoles. No, I don't do consoles. I've never really done consoles, to be honest. I've always been a computer person ever since got the VIC-20, and then the Acorn Electron, and then the Spectrum, and then the Spectrum Plus 2, and then the Amiga 500, and then the Amiga 1200, and then basically I stayed with the Amiga 1200 and upgraded the crap out of that. Damn, my Amiga 1200 was unrecognisable by the end. And then I went straight to a Pentium 4. Hell, I skipped the whole 386, 586 nonsense. Thank goodness for that. Straight to a P4. Ha! Of course, yeah, your P4s nowadays, people will be thinking I'm talking about an i4 or something like that. Not that there is an i4, of course, but meh. Anyway, I digress. No console games. The only console I've got is a Wii, and that's just for a laugh when I'm not when I'm drunk, but you know what I mean. It's better during parties when people have had a bit to drink. That's hilarious, watching people mutilate themselves. And also, you ask, any secret LPs planned? Yes. So yeah, that's pretty much those questions. Let's have a look. What else have we got in here? Okay, here we go. We have Creeper Onage123 asks, how old do you think your viewers and subs are? Well, the great thing about having a channel on YouTube is that you get demographics, so you kind of get a rough percentage split. It doesn't tell you individuals, but it gives you a rough idea. And the ages of my subscribers vary wildly. I think about 50% of you, let me think, roughly 50% of you are teenager or below, and the rest are kind of over. I'm actually older than about 95% of my subs, so I don't know what that says about me and my subs. But surprisingly enough, I've got, you know, young age groups tend to be the most popular, of course, and then the amount of subscribers, you know, drops right the way out. But there's a weird peak with female subscribers between 35 and 55 or something like that. I don't know whether that's because, I don't know, I've said that my voice is quite nice. I dread to think that there's lonely housewives watching my stuff. I don't know. I'm taken. So yeah, it's I kind of know roughly how old you all are, not individually, but you know, as a demographic. And also you ask, how often will I post these question and answer videos? Well, sporadically, I think's the only answer I've got to that question. At random. But you know, it's one of those things where you've got to do a little bit at a time, or you go completely bonkers, I suppose. And after I finish Dishonored, FTL, and XCOM, see, this is quite a new question, you know, sort of. What will be my next Let's Play? Well, after Dishonored, FTL, and XCOM, I'll be doing a Trine Let's Play and a Dwarf Fortress Let's Play. Oh dear. Shall I find some more questions? Let's have a look in here. Aha! Here we go. We have from everyone's favourite hyena. Patches Hyena asks, "What's my favourite?" She says, "What's your favourite animal?" I bet you can guess what mine is. Winking face, love heart. Yes, I imagine yours are probably hyenas. That would make sense. Although you'll probably come up with like narwhals or something, which really comes bonus points if you know what a narwhal is. My favourite. Well, I don't know. I'm going to assume that I'm allowed fantasy creatures because you've got to admit there's nothing wrong with a nice big dragon. Dragons are awesome. I mean, seriously, it's a dragon. It's the best animal ever. If I had to pick a real animal that actually exists, and I know screams of people who say that they do exist, and they're like, oh. Yeah, I know. I wish to, but hey, you know. If wishes were... Oh, my legs! Right, a real animal. I suppose I ought to give a real animal. Narwhals are actually pretty good, actually. I don't know. Caledonian crows. There you go. Caledonian crows. They're pretty awesome animals. Any corvid. Corvids are brilliant animals. I mean, the corvids just like the family of birds, which basically includes crows, ravens, magpies, that kind of thing. They are awesome, wickedly intelligent, and very playful as well when they're fairly tame. So I would love a Caledonian crow as a pet. That would be just awesome. So yes, thanks for the question. What else have we got in here? Okay, yep. Last in the World asks, will you ever consider doing videos with your girlfriend? You know, that would actually be quite interesting, but she's probably more private than I am, and she doesn't really like computer games that much, to be honest. So, yeah, Splash is a bit weird like that. I'm probably quite lucky she actually even has a weird nickname. Yeah, she kind of Wii games every now and again, kind of fitness ones more than anything else. And And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and casual games on Facebook, that kind of thing. You know, not proper games. They're silly games. Silly, silly, silly games. So yeah, it's a consideration, but it's not something that's going to happen, unfortunately. Would be quite amusing, but no, unfortunately not. Blah blah blah, blah blah blah. Ooh, yeah, okay. Last one for this episode, as it were. Where's the legs again? Stop it. Right, okay. Let me read this before my legs snap again. Executor Arcanus asks, lots of YouTube commentators have names for their subs. The Yogcast have the Yoggnors, and the Littlewood has the Saplings. So, what do you have? Or are we just your subs? That is actually a really good question. See, the Apprentice springs to mind, I suppose. But what I'm actually going to do, comment, make suggestions, actually. What would you guys actually want to be called? It's you know, it's not me. Well, I suppose I could just name you, but it would seem a little bit rude to just give you all a big name which you might hate. So yeah, suggest either in the comments of this video. There, I'm going to make a rule. Comment in this video and thumb up any suggestions that it looks like you quite like, and then I'll pick the ones that look like they're quite good, and then we'll go from there, and we'll see what we can come up with. Because yeah, I suppose I've got to come up with a name. I'm sure I can just call you, my subs, but it would be nice to have kind of an official name, I guess. You also ask, during a Legend of Grimrock series, you made a comment about how you needed to figure out where Grimrock fit in with your character's backstory. Are we ever going to see or hear that backstory, or is it your own private thing? It's actually a public, it is a public backstory, in a sense, because I did run a website for a while. And some of you are like, oh my god, what's a website? Well, I'm going to leave that as a sort of mystery for now. But yes, I did run a website for many, many years when I was younger. Back in my Amiga days, actually. Amiga was perfectly good at doing websites and internet access. So yes, Melek, the character, as it were, has a very long backstory. Trying to think how old the Melek character is. I suppose I've always kind of had that persona, that extra. I mean, obviously I've got, a couple of personas, but the Melek one's always, I suppose, I don't know, the Mage Melek's always been around, probably since my D&D days, many, many, many years ago. So, but yeah, I haven't really figured out where it's getting increasingly difficult to figure that out. God knows where Mass Effect 3 is going to fit in, or FTL for that matter. You know what it's like, it's a tricky one. So yeah, thank you, Executor, and that'll be it for this episode. So yeah, send in more questions. Remember, private message me, put Q&A in the subject so I can filter it out, and I'll try and get to it. But I've got a bit of a backlog at the moment. I mean, I've got about 20 messages that I haven't even answered, and about 7 pages worth of questions to answer that's separate to that. But I'll try and get through them. But until then, cheerio.